Welcome to Marketplace Ministry. This is Chaplain Anthony James, where lives are being changed, community awareness, slogan is real talk, where healing takes place. Just glad to be at a number once again to come and bring some real solutions, some real talk to you. Just know that we're here to raise the bar to whatever, anything that you have, that you questions, that you need to ask, you want to ask, feel free to. You can DM us, DM me, my co-founder Keith Henry. We're normally on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I'm doing this when we're not on through Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So let's go. The topic tonight is fatherlessness in the community. Just talking about fatherlessness causing poverty in the household, in the community. Just want to share a little about that. And so, just knowing for me personally, having children with women and not still with the woman, it caused a lot of grief, it caused a lot of anger, it caused a lot of financial difficulties. So speaking from that, just knowing that however it happened, whatever took place, it's a wrong deal, it's a wrong way of doing things. As a man, speaking from a man that made that mistake, but now trying to right that wrong, it's a journey. It's like, it never is. I don't think the healing process of that is probably a lifetime. You know what I mean? Because kids don't ever forget that, being without a father, not just being deceased, but being still living, but not present. There's no connection there, not present, and it's a hardship. And so I can just speak for myself, and I know some other men that will come forth as well. And I think if men start coming forth and asking for healing for themselves, then, God will heal them. And then so that way, but then once they get healed, they got to try to help heal their kids. Now the women, I don't know how that's going to ever happen, because I know some women that had children by men, and the men are no longer involved with them, but they still have children by them, and they're still hurting behind that. So that connection, I don't know if that ever will. The children that I have, the women that I have children by, I don't know if they probably, and I even asked for their forgiveness and apologize the best way I can, but that's all I can do. So I'm just saying, the more men try to, before they get into a situation with a woman, try to, I don't know, I can't speak for nobody else, but it's a big deal in our communities. The fatherlessness, it causes poverty. Kids are struggling, the family structure is struggling, and so it's a big deal. And you don't really hear too many people talking about this topic, because it's a real sour topic. It's a hurtful topic, because it's 70% of men that's out of the household. It's 70% of single family homes in the black community, and that's a staggering number. And man, and so you have to start somewhere. I believe you have to start somewhere. You have to really dig down and really understand the magnitude of who's hurting. The family's hurting. The family structure has been hurt. And so to get that back, I don't know if it'll ever come back, to be honest with you. But I'm saying healing has to take place for somebody to even think to try to get it right, or try to make things right. And so, a lot of men, I know a lot of men that You can't even have a conversation with them on this topic because they're hurting. They're so numb to it, to where they have put it on the back shelf and they're not dealing with this. And so, us Marketplace Ministry, we came up with a, thing. Me and my co-founder, we was like, man, we really got to talk to the men. We really got to reach these men because the men are the heads. And if we're out of the household, man, the family structure is messed up. And then now another person comes into that picture, they don't stay neither. So it's just like a revolving door. It's just like the prison system. You get out, you go back. You get out, you go back. And so we have to, it has to stop. But men, we can't do it by ourselves. The women have to take control as well. I'm speaking to the women as well. Y'all have to stop opening those doors. You know what I mean? Because if you keep opening those doors, it's going to keep happening. And so we can blame the men all day long. And yeah, men are guilty. I know I was. And I thank God that I'm learning how to get it right, to do better in that area. But I'm saying, women, it's up to you guys to stop it. I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know I don't know. But I'm just saying, this has never really been. I've never heard anybody talk about this, about the family structure being broken down, and why it's being broken down. Where did it start from? It took two people. It wasn't just the man that did it. Nah, it wasn't just the man, because I know too many times the men go through heck in abusive relationships, and then the women too. So it's two parties. I will never blame just the man or the woman. If anything, the fault has to be founded on both parties. You know what I'm saying? It took both parties to make a child. So it's going to take both parties to do the damage as well. You know what I mean? Because so many times the fingers are pointed at the males, fingers are pointed at the females, but most fingers are pointed at the males because the males tend to leave. You know what I'm saying? They leave the household and leave the woman with all the responsibility. But in a lot of cases that I'm telling you, the women push the man out of there because of whatever reason. So it's two parties. And if we can come to that realization to understand that it's two that did the wrong thing. So how do we get it right? That's the question. How do we get this thing right? How do we start building on this brokenness to come back? Even if the men, and the men we ain't talking about getting back with the woman that you had children by. We talking about rekindling a relationship, try to build a better relationship with your children, with your offsprings. That's what this is about, because the households is broke down right now. If I sit up there in the statistics, you can look at them yourselves, you can Google whatever, but I know for sure, I'm a chaplain in the prison system. It's 70% of males that's out of the homes. 70%. That's a crazy number right there. And this topic here, it's a tough topic. And see, I'm ready for it because I've been healed in that area. I've been set free in that area. So therefore, I can speak to this. That's why God has allowed me to speak to this, because I've been set free in that area. And I struggled with that for years. You know what I mean? Just understanding how hurt the children were. And they had nothing to do with anything. Because you have two adults that made a decision to come together and consummate whatever they did. And then next thing you know, split up for whatever reason. Now the child is left in the middle, holding the bag. Now she has to denounce her dad or denounce whatever. That's what it boils down to. The children is the fight against the children and, the father. And so now it's a big mess. And you see it all through our community. I see a lot of young people, they're broken and they're just going off right now. They're doing anything that they think they're big enough and bad enough to do because they have no structure. And I believe the family unit has to be a man and a woman to bring that real structure. You know what I mean? And it is so twisted right out here today too. It's crazy. What's going on, little Ant? My son. Glad for you to be on here, man. Just to trying to shine some light on, some real truth on what's really happening in our communities instead of talking about the other stuff. You know what I mean? We got so much going on, but we need to talking about the nucleus of what's really going on. And that's the fathers are out of the picture. The fathers are being exiled. Some of them have to exile themselves. But then some of them have left situations where it was so toxic that that's what happened to me. I couldn't deal with it no more. You can call it what you want to call it. Copped out, that's part of it. But pressure busts pipes. And if you build up so much pressure within, yourself, you're going to bust. Or you're going to bust somebody. So I left. I had to leave. And, unfortunately, I had 3 children. And it happened too like that. And, I literally had to apologize to them and say sorry to them because they had nothing to do with me leaving. It was not them. It was the toxicity of me and the mother. And so now, and that's what happens in these relationships. Because really, when you really don't love someone, then you go through that situation. I just believe with love is there like that, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There's no disrespect. There's no unloyalty. There's no, anything foul. It's not that. So obviously, there was no real love there. It was just, okay, sexual things, advances had to happen. And then now, after the sex, then what? Do you really love that person? Or you just there because you was lusting or you was infatuated with that person, and then once it really got to the real, when responsibility came, when the children came, now you had to provide. And I'm gonna even say this: some people get with women that have kids without the father having birthed those kids through the woman. So that's another tough deal. You know what I mean? Families that's already made when you come together, that's a tougher deal in itself. So now, it's like, what do you do from here? Man, it's gonna be heck. It's gonna be hell, pretty much. And so now this, like I said, this topic, marketplace ministry, we busting it wide open. We bringing the realness. We uncovering. God is saying to uncover this stuff because this stuff is not being spoken about at all. And I can go to churches, they don't talk about this stuff. Not at all. They don't talk about this. They don't communicate, have conversation with men's ministry, women's ministry. They don't talk about this stuff. And this is the stuff that needs to be talked about because this will open up wombs for healing. And so if you don't never open up these wombs, their healing can't take place. People say they want healing, but do you really want healing? Are you really ready for healing? You should be by now. I know I am. I know I'm tired of seeing all this craziness in our community. These kids raising their own selves. The mother can't do nothing with these kids because the father is out of the picture. And then some other Joe Smo come through and now try to raise somebody else's child and don't really have the love for these children because they're not yours. Even though if you get with somebody, you're supposed to love a child like you love your own. But a lot of times that doesn't work because a lot of times the woman, I'm saying again, the woman plays a part in that too. So it's just not the male counterpart. It's the woman too. The woman plays a major part in this because if a woman allow a man to do certain things, that's what's going to happen. And then if you don't have any boundaries set, you don't have any, things that you won't do or you won't allow, it's going to happen. The bad craziness is going to happen. And unfortunately, we got these men, they're boys. A lot of men are boys. Real talk. Just because they in men bodies, that don't mean that they're boys. They think like boys. The word of God says when I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I grew up, I had to put childish things to the side. I had to think different. I had to do things differently. A lot of times, men in men bodies, they're doing boyish things. First of all, unprotected sex. That's a boy thing. That's not a man thing. A man thing, if you having sex, first of all, you should really, to be honest with you, to be truth honest with you, I didn't do it, but I'm just saying I learned through trial and error. You're not supposed to even have sex with a woman until you really married, under holy matrimony. That sounds corny, and I know it, but that's the truth. That's the God honest truth. Because now you're respecting that person because you don't want to defile the marriage or defile the relationship. But we jump in with no condom. The women let us do it with no condom, and then boom, all of a sudden you miss your period. Next thing you know, I'm pregnant. You know you didn't want a child by that man. You wanted to feel good from that man. And then what happens is you wanted to feel good, and boom, a baby comes into play. Now you don't want to board the child. Some women abort, some don't. But the ones that keep the children, they struggle with the children. Then the man arguing and fighting and all that because you really don't love each other. Now you have a child. So now you figure, oh, I got to take care of this child now, amongst other children that you may have. You can't afford to even take care of the other ones you have. So now you have another baby come in. So it's a lot. It's layers to this thing. It's layers to this thing. And nobody's talking about this thing. So God was like, talk about this. Open this up, because this has to be opened up, because people have to really understand where this crap is coming from. We have to gut out the truth. We have to dig it up and replant what's going on, because the next generations is doing the same thing. They're having sex. Oh, you think they're not? Yeah, they are. And they don't even care nothing about each other. Same thing that we dealt with. So we passed that curse down. So now what do we do now? We figure, oh man, ain't nothing we can do now. It's out of control. No, God says fix it. That's the cold truth right there. God is like, man, fix it. Since I've ordained you, since you have survived, not going crazy, whatever you've been through, I've kept you. Now, open it up now. Have conversation. Have dialogue. And that's what Marketplace Ministry is doing. We're opening up the platform to listen, man, it hurts. We hurt each other. You understand? We did these things. We had babies by these women. So now we left these women. We left these children. Let's go back and get our children. Let's go back. First of all, you ain't going to be able to go back and get no children unless you raise up and grow up yourself. Because a child can't help a child. It has to be a man helping a child. But if you a baby, then you can't help your children anyway, because you worse than you're more baby than they are. So that's the cold truth right there. That's the cold truth. So if you're a child, if you and your boy and your age is a certain number, you're classified as an adult, but you still act like you still have childlike ways. You can't help your child. Come on, you can't help your child. You need help. And that's the problem with the male counterpart. We walk around like we don't need help. We get numb to our foolishness. And then these kids grow up. Now they're of age. Now they're 17, 18, 19, 20. Man, they care nothing about you. They almost hate you, especially if they look like you. Wow. They're going to say, man, my daddy ain't worth for nothing. And then how do you feel? You get upset because now they're thinking like that because that's what you showed them. So now what are you going to do? Get angry, get more angry? You're already hurt. So what do? I'm telling you what you need to do. What you need to do, you need to repent and ask God for forgiveness. But you need to go back to them kids and ask God to forgive. Ask the kids to forgive you like I did. Yeah, I had to do that. I had to go to my kids and ask for forgiveness and say I was sorry for leaving, because now that's what the generation is going through right now. They out here killing each other. They out here popping pills. They out here smoking more weed than we ever smoked. And I smoked. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I was in them streets, I did it all pretty much. But God, his grace and his mercy was sufficient. But his grace and mercy wasn't sufficient for me to sit here and just, oh yeah, I'm good. No, I'm not good. without my children, without helping them. If I could sit by and watch my kids get murdered and deteriorate in the earth and be played with by the system or by people, man, you crazy, man. You're crazy. So I'm saying, men, wake up. Wake up. It's time to wake up. This is 2020. We all started with 2020 vision. Yeah. God said, yeah, you're going to have 2020 vision, all right, after this, after all this stuff going on. But God is saying, if you tap in, go get your children, man. That's what this message is about. Fatherlessness causes poverty in the community, in our community. That's what it's doing. It's nothing but poverty in our community. You see it every day. It's like sweltering with it, man. It's like, wow, man. If you don't feel this, if you don't feel what I'm saying, then that's on you. I know I'm saying something true, because even me saying, I'm getting chills right now, because God is having me do something that is not being done. It's not being talked about. We need to open this thing up. We need to love on our children, black men. I'm talking about black men. We need to love our children. They need not be bastard children because we missed the mark and we messed up. If you're that much of a man and God has really blessed you and you still in this earth, man, you owe it. You owe it to your children. I ain't saying to go try to buy them everything, but be present. Be present. They need to see your presence. Not presents all the time. Like Christmas coming up, you're going to go try to buy a bunch of stuff, compensating. No, they want love. Listen, these kids, man, they want love from you. They want you to show love. That's it. They don't care about that other stuff. They really want love. So if you're not willing to give them love, then what are you doing then? Then I submit to you. What are you on this earth for then? Just to make a baby like a dog and just keep moving? Nah. We supposed to be men. Let's grow up, man. This is serious. This is like such a mandate right now. And then we got the child support situation. It's so messed up. The world, if you look at the world right now, I was just looking at the news, me and my wife. Man, it's a mess. Everywhere you turn, guns are being drawn, protesting, looting, killing. And these kids are like, they're on the internet, they're on Twitter, they're on Facebook, FaceTime, whatever. And you ain't gonna spend no time with your children? I can promise you this, I'm gonna say this. God is gonna charge the game to you. Think not if you want to. I had to repent. I had to say, Lord, okay, show me the way, God. Show me. If I didn't know, because I was hurt when I left my children, because I really didn't want to do that. But because of trial and error, and I put myself in a situation I wasn't really ready to deal with, because I was not a man at that time. I was a boy when I entered into those relationships. Women, for the most part, I ain't saying they all perfect, but they don't be playing games. You got some women that be tripping, but for the most part, man, they serious about it. But I'm saying this to the women too. Shut your shop down. Stop letting these boys in your shop. And then we'll slow this revolving door down. Because if you keep letting boys in, this is what's going to keep happening. Now, these girls that's being born into this earth, they're doing the same thing their mothers is doing. Because they have not been trained either. They're not being trained. Because the mama doing it, or what you think the daughter going to do? The daughter going to do that. Just like the son. If you tripping, guess what? The son's going to trip too. Because that's how they being trained. That's how they're being trained. And we can't get mad at the system, because the system's a system. And if we don't train ours at the house, at the home front, even if you're not with the baby's mother, you're supposed to still be helping your child right now, speaking life into their life, speaking some sense into them, helping them to understand that you're not alone in this world. Whatever I have, such as I give. If you need help with school stuff, if you need help with understanding what's going on in this world, we call ourselves, we smart, we intelligent, we have intellect. Why can't we get past that on to our children? We just gonna leave them out? We just gonna let them grow up on their own? And you see what's happening in this world? Come on, man. Come on. That's genocide. We talking about genocide. We putting genocide on our own families. Men. One thing I've learned, I read the Bible, I'm very studious of the Word of God. One thing I saw, man, when Adam and Eve, that situation happened as I believe it. When Eve messed up, guess what happened? God didn't say, Eve, where art you? He said, Adam, where are you? Adam was out of bounds. That's why Eve was beguiled by Satan. So now, here we go. We out of bounds. We somewhere lollygagging, doing something we ain't got no, going to make more babies that we ain't going to take care of. And then boom, when this stuff happened, oh man, that's my child. Man, be quiet. Be quiet. You raising, you bringing kids into the earth and they getting slaughtered. See, it hit me first. See, I'm the first Marketplace Ministry. This is who I am. This is what my ministry is about. My co-founder is Keith Henry. You know, we doing this thing unto God. But we're the first partakers of this ministry. So it had to hit me first. Because I was like, Lord, my kids, I'm in North Carolina. My kids are in New York. I got one son with me right now, but he about to go back to where because he's growing up he's growing up to the man. So now he got responsibilities with his children. But man, I had to realize, I said, dang, man, you know, I feel every day I go by, man, it's 24 hours in a day. Most of the whole day I'm thinking about my children, man. I'm like, how can I help them? In whatever way I need to help them to advance, to be okay. Not just welfare, but well-being. How can I help them with their life? With all what's going on right now. We got all these tricks and these, oh man, when we was out in the street, man, we had a lot of game with us. And they say game recognize game. So now your kids is coming up. Now watch the game be played on them. What you gonna do then? How you gonna help them then? You ain't in their life. You don't call them. You don't talk to them because they're mad at you because you ain't been around for 10, 15 years or I pay child support. So yeah, listen, please. We talking about relationship. If you have not got a relationship with your children, get one. Get one. It's never too late. See, we thinking, nah, it's going to be too late. Nah, man, man, listen, get one now. You want to become that man? It takes a phone call, a letter. Write a letter. That's powerful too. Oh, you think not? I still write letters. Write a letter. And give them your heart. But just don't talk. Walk it. Because a lot of times we run our mouths, but just like God says, your lips are saying one thing, but your heart is so far from me. Don't do that to your children. Don't do that to your children. Don't tell them what you're going to do for them. You know what I used to tell my kids all the time? You know, I never told my kid I would get something from them. I would always say I'm working on it. Because I was. Because maybe I didn't have it at the time. Maybe I did. But I didn't blow their heads up, like making them think, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to get that. They know I'll normally do if I have. And 9 times, thank you, God, I had. But the bottom line is, I always tell them, no, I'm working on it. Letting them know I ain't say no. I ain't say no. And I find myself now, I have to keep that relationship open, you know, and they don't ask me for much. Kids don't really, you know what I'm saying? If you're really about love with your child, man, listen, they gonna love you. They just want to be involved in your life, period. And you should want to be involved in their life. And if you don't want to be involved in their life, God says you're less than an infidel. That means you are toe up from the floor up. Your mind is really twisted if you don't want to be in your children's life. I don't know whether you're jealous of your child or whatever. I don't know. But at the end of the day, something's wrong. And you have to wrong that You have to right that wrong. You are the adult. I don't care if they are of age. You still are the adult over your child. And I can promise you, for all you men that think your children don't care about you, they hate you. No, they don't. They hurt. And hurt people hurt people. So I'm saying, man, come on. Women, help us, women. We need help. I'm not going to say my wife now, she's with me with my children. She ain't had birth to none. She ain't gave birth to none one of them. But she's by my side because she see I love them and she helps me to do better with them. Because she's a woman and she wants me to have that relationship with my children. But you got to want it, man. It shouldn't be about what somebody else wants for you and your children. It should be about what you need to have for your children. It shouldn't be a want. It should be a need. If it's not a need, man, go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board. It has to be a need for you to be in their life. I'm telling you. Because it'll be a sad situation if they, God forbid, something happens to them or something happens to you. They're going to suffer. But what if something happened to them and you never said sorry? You never repented. You never, man, it's going to bust you wide open. I'm telling you. So, man, I'm charging you. I'm challenging you to change your way of thinking. Change it. You can do it. You change other things. Change that now. That's your seed. That's your seed. You're supposed to water that seed so they can grow to be productive. Even though this world we live in is hellbound. It's crazy out here. So if you're not doing nothing to enhance your children's growth and development, you might as well be the devil to them then. You might as well be Satan to them. If you don't help your kids, you the devil. I'm going to say that. You acting as Beelzebub, Satan to your children if you don't help them. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they said. Grow up, men. Grow up, men. I'm calling you out. It's tight, but it's right. Oh, this came to me first. I was like, okay, God, you got it. I was angry with my kids too because they wouldn't listen to me, because they wouldn't adhere to what I said. I'm not there. I wasn't there. I was there from a distance, giving them money here and there, but I wasn't there with giving hugs. When they got hurt in school or somebody disrespected them in school, the mama was there nurturing them. They wouldn't call daddy because they think daddy mad at mama. The kids play a major part in this, man. They like puppets. They're in the middle. They're in the middle. So we got to grow up so they stop getting beat down. And then they run to the world, man. They run into the world for help. And the world is crushing them. The world is crushing them. Because they can't go to daddy. They can't go to the strength. They're supposed to be able to go to the strength. But if you ain't the strength, who they gonna go to? They gonna go to the weak. They gonna go to the one that's gonna hurt them. And they might go to somebody that cares about them, but who's supposed to care about them? They daddy, they father. Come on. Come on. They dad. They want to see dad. They want daddy. I'm telling you, if the truth be told, you ask some of these kids, yo, what's the problem? I want my daddy. I'm in the prison systems down here in North Carolina, the federal prison and the county prisons. Listen, I'll be talking to the men. They be like, yo, chap, man, my son, my daughter, they pissed at me. I said, do you blame them? Do you blame them? You left them. But I said, don't stay there. I said, forgive yourself. Write them a letter. Tell them you're sorry. You have to start somewhere. Tell them you're sorry. Don't start making broken promises that you ain't going to keep. We need to stop doing that to our kids. telling them stuff to shut them up for a minute. Man, these kids are so smart and intelligent. Man, they know you full of crap. And then they know you busted too. We trying to act like we do. Nah, come on, be real. You got to be real to yourself. Be true to yourself. You have to be true to yourself because your kids love you regardless of what. They love you. I'm telling you, men, this is a mandate. God told me to do this. I'm doing it too because it feels good for me to let it out. Because, see, I needed to let this go because I've been wanting to talk to the men about this. But, you know, God says it's always in timing. It's always in timing. I've been putting out messages for the community awareness, community involvement. God says, no, start putting topics out there. Fatherlessness causes poverty. Not just poverty materialistic wise, but mentality wise. We have to grow. This ain't about money. This ain't about chasing that bag. This is about chasing a heart, a soul, your child. Because they hurt and they need you. Now, men, if you in your child's life, kudos. Kudos. Real talk. But if you're not in that child's life, listen, do better, man. Let's do better. Let's do better. Because I made the same mistake. I left their life, but I told my children I left your house, but I didn't leave your life. So anything I can do for my children, I try to do it to the best of my ability. And if you do that, then God will help. He will put his super on your natural ability, and it'll help your situation. But if he see you lying and still being conniving, man, listen, he gonna let you fall on your face. And then guess what? The kid's still gonna be hurt. So, man. And I'm pleased, women, please hear me out. Hear my heart. Stop letting these boys infiltrate. Stop letting these boys infiltrate. Because you are held responsible too. It ain't just on the men. It's on the women too. Because God is looking at both parties. Both parties are going to be dealt with. Because have enough couth, have enough woman to say, not girl, if you and your girl, you're going to keep letting boys in. But if you and your woman, you ain't letting no boy in. Bottom line. Bottom line. Y'all women can hold out a lot longer than us men. Y'all know that. So I'm saying help us women. Help these men. Because they need help. Because if you keep opening that door, they coming in. They coming in because they boys. That's what they do. But real men ain't going to hurt you like that. Real men going to spend time with you and not try to dog you. There's not a lot of them out here. I'm going to be real with you. It's not a lot of men roaming out here. I know women that's dealing with men behind the prison bars. Oh, they getting with men that's behind the wall rather than to get with men out here. That's kind of crazy to me, but I understand. Because a lot of boys are running around doing boyish things. And if the shoe fits, take it off. If I throw a rock in a pack of dogs, the one who holler is the one got hit. If you hollered when I threw that rock in that pack, shut it down. You need to stop what you're doing because it's foul. So I'm not here I don't need likes. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mandate. God is saying, man, listen, you out here now. You out here. He want me to continue to talk about this stuff because it has to, listen, the only way we're going to help our children, we're going to have to line up. We're going to have to stand up and put the childish things to the side. We're going to have to do that. Now, if you don't want change, then you ain't going to do that. But if you want change, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. It's going to hurt. It's going to feel messed up at first because it's something that you have to tear down in yourself. And a lot of times we don't like to see ourselves. But put that mirror up. Promise you, you looking at you. Look at your children. You looking at you. That's a reflection of you. If they struggling, man, you shouldn't be doing good. If they struggling, there's no way you supposed to be doing good and your kids are not. Nah. There's no way you supposed to be walking around dipped all out, 9 from head to toe, and your kids are not. Nah, you got to twist it. You got the game twisted. And chances are, it ain't going to end right. It's not going to end right. Just be honest. It ain't going to end right. So, man, God has given us an opportunity to get it right. This is why these topics and these things come to the forefront of life. Pay attention. Get it right. Grab hold to it. And stop. Don't point your finger at nobody else because they ain't on here or whatever. Point your finger. When you point fingers, it's supposed to be 4 pointing back at you. So take heed to yourself. I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to me too. I keep myself fed in this area because I owe it to my seeds to help them the best way I can. Period. Whether it be financial, whether it be communicative, whether it be spiritually. And that's another thing. If we know God, we need to be teaching them about God. Because I'm telling you, the world right now is going to hell in a handbasket. We see all the things unraveling. And if you don't teach your kids something, they will teach your kids something, and you ain't going to like it. I'm telling you. You're not going to like it. But one thing, if the kids get taught God and you still tripping, don't get mad when your kid come and pull you up now. Don't get mad because they trying to do right and you doing wrong. Don't get pissed. Just take it. Say, thank you, God. You speak out of the mouth of babes. Thank you, Lord. You blessing my child. My child is telling me the right thing to do. I'm going to listen. Because it's working like that. These kids, some of these kids are so sharp and smart and love the Lord. They going to be telling you stuff to do it right. I'm going to be honest with you. In the past, my baby girl, I was arguing with her stepmom. Okay? And we were going at it, arguing. And all of a sudden, my daughter, she was a baby, and she had to be no more than 6 or 7. She told me to shut my mouth. She said, Daddy, you know better, Daddy. She was like, zip it. You know better. Man, you know how crazy I felt? But I listened. I listened to her. Because she made sense. And we was going in. And she was like, Daddy, you know better, Daddy. Stop it. She didn't let my ex-wife see her doing that. It was like a divider there. And she was looking at me while I was going towards her. We was arguing. Man, she said that to me. It shut me down. And I thank God for it today. It shut me down. It stopped me in my tracks. Because I was saying, this is a baby telling her father to stop it. I'm acting like the child. But she loved me so much and she didn't want me to argue no more. And she was tired of it because we was arguing in front of her. God used her to shut me down, even against the woman. God looked at me and said, you shut down. He used a child. So that's what I'm saying. So don't get tight or up. Whatever, if your child tells you, listen, chill. Listen to him. Listen to him. Because God said if you can listen to a baby, oh man, you could change. You could change from that way. And so I'm coming on here with I ain't mad, I ain't angry, but I'm tired of the foolishness that's going on in our communities. Every day you see it. These young people out, and I can't get mad at them. You know, I believe what I'm seeing now, it's like a thorn in my side. It bothers me. So God says, I'm not going to take the thorn out your side because I want you to help them too. But you can't help nobody else's kids before you help your own. So if you're doing that, you need to stop that too. You need to stop raising somebody else's children and help raise your own. That's real talk right there. You can't be successful with somebody else's children and yours are not being successful because you're not speaking into their life. Let's stop that foolishness. Not saying you don't have to help them, but man, help yours too. Don't leave them out. That's not fair. It's not fair. Because God is chalking. He's on that chalkboard. So men, this is real talk right here. Fatherlessness causes poverty in the black community. I ain't talking about white men. I ain't talking about none of them. I ain't talking about what's happening with anybody else. I'm talking about black men. I'm in our community now. I'm in your living room right now. I'm in wherever you are listening right now. I'm telling you, let's do better, people. Men and the women, please help us. Men, don't sugarcoat us, because we don't do good when you sugarcoat, when you allow us to play these stupid little games, because it's breaking down. It done, not breaking down, it done broke down the family. This ain't was 70% of men in the households, single family homes. This is now. This has been since 2014. It was lower than that, but it raised. It's probably higher than that now. That was 2014. Okay? 2015, 70% of males out of the household. Black families we're talking about. We ain't talking about Hispanic. We ain't talking about white. We talking about African American black families. However you see yourself. But you know what I'm talking about. I'm saying connect with me. Because at the end of the day, this is what it is. This is what it is. All who know me, all who think they know me, it don't even matter at this point. I'm talking truth right now. I'm talking, I'm talking the truth. I'm speaking the truth because I'm putting myself out here. I'm making the change. I'm doing the best I can by my children. And I'm going to continue to do that. And so, man, I'm telling you to do the same thing. This I will be talking about this. I will be lifting men up. I will be coming. This is the topic that God has got me on right now. Marketplace ministry. This is what we're doing. We got to do something real. I've never been a fake brother. I've never been a shiesty brother. I'll always be an upstanding dude. I was younger, now I'm older. Thank God. Glory to God. He kept me here for a reason. Oh, my life was a living hell on the earth. And I thank God for having a right mind. He kept everything. Listen, he kept me. I remember, he blessed me. So I have to bless men. If you want to be blessed, if you want to remain the same, then that's on you. The earth is made up of three things: seed, time, and harvest. When you sow a seed, whether good or bad, you water in that seed if you keep doing it. Then a harvest is coming, whether it's good or bad. And one thing I've learned, harvest responds to seed. I'm going to say that again. Harvest responds to seed. So you keep sowing something, it's coming back to you. It's coming back. Just like when you're having sex, unprotected. What you think? You sowing a seed. You watering that seed. You keep having sex. Soon enough, bambino, baby, coming. Harvest responds to seed. So you have to understand that. It's not a game. It's definitely not a game out here. This is serious. This is serious. And if you got children out here, man, talking to you. God came at me, so I gotta put it out there. So it is what it is. And I thank God for allowing me this platform, because he know I'm tired of seeing it, because I dealt with it, and it's not good. It's not conducive to nobody's growth and development. Everybody get busted down. You talking about the family structure. I ain't singling nobody. I'm talking about the family structure that's been bust down in the black community. Now, if you think I'm wrong, if you want to holler at me, DM me. Let me know. Yo, chat, what's good? Yo, I don't understand. You know, we can do the Q&A thing. We getting to that point, getting this podcast thing. So we're gonna have some dialogue, you know, and just coming, just trying to do the right thing and say the right thing, and the right thing, whether you like it or not, I'm gonna say it because I'm being led by God to do it and to say it. And so just understand my heart, hear my heart. This is my heart speaking. This ain't my head. This ain't me thinking I'm this, that, and the third. This is me saying, man, our communities are suffering. When are we going to stop the bleeding? When are we going to try to stop this bleeding? Because the bleeding, man, right now we gushing blood right now, community. We gushing out blood. I got this shirt. I got a website, kingdomwearstore.com. I got some shirts that's going to speak to some of this stuff too. Change ain't changed till you change. kingdomwearstore.com. Be your brother's keeper, not killer. Minding my own black business. I got some stuff to speak to what's going on. I ain't just selling shirts that come off. These shirts, whenever you buy a shirt through my organization, through my virtual store, this shirt is, the proceeds are going back into this ministry. You understand? That's what this proceeds are for. I got product for what I'm doing. So that way, boom, I can sow back into this ministry so I can do better and bigger things. Because we plan on Marketplace Ministry is plan on moving from city to city. We coming to your city. And when we coming with the realness. We coming with God. But we're going to be talking some real, like I'm talking now. This is how this is. I've always been like this. Whoever really know me, whoever think they know me from my town, from my hood, man, this all I used to be about. Talking that real talk. But I was out of control then. I'm not out of control now. It's a difference. It's a difference. I've grown up. I used to be a boy, now I'm a man of God. Trying to do the right thing for the right reasons. So again, people, men, tap in to this ministry. Walk alongside of us. Like I said, Marketplace Ministry is a big puzzle. We have missing slots. We have missing pieces. We're looking for people to walk alongside of us to help us grow. Vice versa. You have a ministry. You have an organization. Listen, I'll walk alongside of you. Each one teach one. That's how we move. That's how we're going to tear this craziness down in our communities. We can't do it alone. There's no lone ranger. You see the churches ain't, listen, as many as churches on every corner, they need help. They need help. They ain't out here doing too much. Because if they was, with all these churches, we wouldn't be having these problems. So obviously, they need help too. I'm not knocking the churches. I'm just saying, I'm praying that they open up their doors, open up their hearts, not their minds, but their hearts. And let God speak to them and say, yo, there's people that's willing to help. Because we got to come out, and I appeal to these pastors and these apostles and these bishops. Come from behind that pulpit and show these people in the streets love. Show these young people love, man. You hug them when they come into church. Hug them out the church. Because a lot of them ain't coming in there. Because they didn't see so much hypocrisy going on. So now you're going to have to come out now. That's why God allowed this pandemic to take place. He shut the church down. So now you can't go back in the church and still preach another message. You changing messages. God says, no, change the atmosphere. That's what needs to change, the atmosphere. So God can crash in. God ain't with messages. Because first of all, we get caught up on the messenger anyway. And it's really about the message. But God says he's doing a new thing. He's saying atmosphere, which has been an old thing really. Because he's always was after atmospheres. He's after the atmosphere. That needs to change. All this hell going on. You would think the devil's winning. Nah, he ain't winning nothing. God's still in control. Because God still got his people down here. And we got to stop allowing Satan to be so strong in our neighborhoods. We got to run him out of our neighborhoods. That's why we got to come together as one body, one mind, and chase Satan up out of here. Because hell is enlarging. That's what the word of God is saying. So we got to, as people of God and people, man, we got to come together and shut it down, man. We got to shut it down. So Marketplace Ministry is willing and able. So holler at us. And, like I said, connect with us. And we on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Me and Keith Henry's on tomorrow, Tuesday and Saturday. My co-founder. I'm on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Back on Saturday. And I'm gonna have some special guests on here, talking about different things and dialogue. And then people can listen in and you can give us some questions. And if you got any questions on anything we're talking about, let's go. Don't be afraid. Shoot it at us. If we can answer it, we will. So we can get some understanding, so understanding can be understood. I'm not on social media playing games, man. This is serious to me. This is my ministry. I thank God he's given me a ministry. This is my pulpit right here. This is my pulpit right here. I don't have to be on nobody's platform doing what they tell them. If I say certain things, they don't invite me back to their church. So God says, you got your platform right here. Pitch your tent everywhere you go, like the Apostle Paul said. So when I go out there and preach and teach on the highways and the byways, that's why I want to go where Jesus went. It's more powerful to me anyway. It's more powerful. A church without walls. So at the end of the day, we have to come together and let's do this for the betterment of other people, for our community, man. I want our community to thrive. We ain't never thrived. I wasn't around when Black Wall Street. I wasn't around when that. I never seen a black community, thrive. I never seen that in my life before. I want to experience that. I believe we can because God said we can. So I want to see that. So I'm pushing to see that. Before he takes me home, I want to see that. I want to pass it to the next generation. I want to pass the rock to the next generation. You know what I'm saying? I want them to be able to reap the benefits of what our labor was about, so they can be powerful within themselves and pass it down. However, this earth, how long God allows this stuff to be here. Because the looks of it, oh man, it's disintegrating. But while we're here, I want to reap that. So again, Marketplace Ministry, I appreciate y'all coming on. I appreciate y'all being, on tonight, just giving me some love, you know what I mean, listening. But this is real talk. This is our slogan. So listen, again, I'll be on the night, tomorrow night, me and Keith Henry, co-founder of Marketplace Ministry. Have a blessed night, and we're going to get into this thing. Men, let's do this. And the women. Peace.